In this morning show, we are here to inspire you about building your own business and helping you stay on track of your goals. It's a daily cup of motivation, a supportive group of women who wants to see you succeed in your business, and we'll support you every step of the way. Right in the morning. Just put your mind to it. Coffee with Nikkie. Wake up everybody in the morning. Wake up everybody. It's coffee with Nikkie, and we have to get our drink on. So educate your mind, right? Educate your mind, right? Educate your mind, right? Hey, we riding, yo. Wake up in the morning, 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm yawning, brainstorming when my mind is forming. Time to tune to this morning show early in the morning. Listen to Coffee with Nikkie. Oh yes, she's busy. If you need help, tune on the channel right with me. Strong, independent women make it sound easy. Take it Wake up everybody in the morning. Wake up everybody. It's coffee with Nikkie, and we have to get our drink on. So educate your mind, right? Educate your mind, right? Educate your mind, right? Hey, we riding, yo.
Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing on this amazing morning? We got some sunshine, so it's feeling good. Everybody, welcome to Coffee with Nikkie. I am your host, Miss Nikkie. This is your daily cup of information and inspiration. Cups are available on the website now. With that being said, we have been talking about vending this whole week. And so we're going to go into a little bit of next week too, because I'm going to tell you guys how you can create your own events. But this week we've been speaking about, how to set up and things like that. So today we're going to be talking about where to find these markets and what to look for when you are trying to find something to see if it best fits you. So I know a lot of you guys, for the holiday season, this is the perfect time for you to get the information now before the holiday seasons arrive, because you want to make sure that you are booking yourself in these events, because they fill up really, really fast. And so you want to make sure that you're putting yourself in an environment where it's going to serve you. You want to make sure that you are getting into a show that is a good show. And we're going to tell you exactly what to look for. Today, I have two special guests coming on the show this morning. I have Melissa of Cali Meets NYC. She's going to join us this morning, and she's going to talk about her experience as a vendor, because she's been doing this since she was a little girl. She's been vending. She's been an entrepreneur for like most of her life. So she comes from an entrepreneurial background. This is just in her blood. This is just what, her essence. And so she's going to talk about that this morning. And we're also going to have Chantel, who y'all know I say, hey sis, hey Chantel. She's going to be on at the later part of the show, and she's going to be talking about her experience as well. And tomorrow I am going to have Cousin on, and she's going to be speaking about her experience as well. I wanted this topic to be interactive. I wanted you guys to tell me what your experience is. Tell me what will help, what works for you, what you think people can benefit from. So I'm super excited about this. So let me look over my notes real fast, because I don't have a lot of notes today, because like I said, I'm going to have two guests, but I'm just going to share where you can find them, because I know Yolanda asked yesterday, and I said, I'm going to talk about it today. So where you can find your events, and also, again, what to look for at these events. You can't just pick any event and be like, okay, that's the one that I'm gonna go crazy at. You know what I'm saying? You can't just pick the events like that, because it doesn't work that way. You got to pick things that really fit with your brand. You know what I mean? Like I did 1 year, for 2 years actually, we did this thing called the Taco Festival that they have in New Jersey on the fairgrounds. And so I thought, I'm like, the Taco Festival, and I make soaps and, body products and candles and all that type of stuff. I don't know if I'm going to be a good fit for that. You know what I'm saying? And so it turned out that it worked out really well. It was a huge success. It was a huge success 2 years in a row, although COVID came and then, we didn't do it anymore. But it was a huge success 2 years in a row. And so sometimes you just got to figure out, what will work for you. And that was one of the things. So when you are looking for events, you you want to make sure that it is fitting. You want to make sure that your people are going to be there. You may not want to do a farmer's market where people are looking for bargains and you are a luxury brand and they're not at that price point. So you want to be mindful about those type of events, because you're going to say, oh, well, the event didn't work. Well, that your people weren't there. So of course it wasn't going to work. So you got to be mindful about the events that you select. So with that being said, let me check and see who's in the building this morning. So everybody make sure that y'all take out this link and share it everywhere. I already got my coffee. Y'all can tell I'm already extra in hype. But let's check and see who we have in the building this morning. All right. So first we have, y'all know her as Latrice of Heartbeat Candle Co. I call her cousin, but here in these YouTube streets, we call her the best moderator on what? Earth. The best moderator on Earth's in the building. Good morning, cousin. She said, good morning, my hearts. Good morning, Melody. Melody said, good morning, everyone, and let's make it a great day. Yes, hit the like button. Come on, Melody. Come on, Melody. Yes, yes, and yes, I love that. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning, good morning, good morning. She's going to be my special guest this morning. She said, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Miss Kim. And happy birthday to your husband. Good morning, good morning, good morning. She said, good morning, lovelies. Good morning, Miss Lois. Miss Lois said, good morning, ladies. I've stopped doing farmers markets. Right. So why did you stop doing farmers markets, Miss Lois? Let me know in the chat. Good morning, sis. Good morning, Chantel. How are you guys doing? Well, how are you doing? Let me put the link in here for y'all. And just so you can have it, but I'm gonna say where you can find the vending events, what to look for, and then I'm going to bring up Melissa, and then I'm going to bring up Chantel, and then we're going to close out the show. All right. So this is the link. Y'all save it. Y'all save it. Y'all save it. All right. So, Miss Lois, let me know why you stopped doing farmers markets, but I'm going to give you a few things. I know, like I said, Yolanda was asking, so I'm going to leave this up so she can catch it. Eventbrite. Eventbrite, you can go to Eventbrite to find local events and fairs and farmers markets. You can also do Facebook. Facebook is easy because, people are usually people who are running the events are usually creating these events so that people can, they could bring awareness to the event and, the people in the area. So Facebook events is going to be a really good place for you to find events. Plus, you can go back and look at the history of the event, right? You can go back and see what people were saying about it. You can go down a rabbit hole like I do and see what vendors were there and and start communicating with the vendors. How was the event? Did you have a good time? See what the people are saying about the events. And that way you can keep yourself abreast on, the local area. Let me see. I have Google search. You could definitely do a Google search and you can search craft fairs. You can search festivals, markets. You could do farmers markets, holiday markets. Again, holiday markets is the markets you want to get into, and you want to make sure that you're in a good holiday market because that's where people are going to shop for gifts. They're going there just for gifts. So they're going to be not only just picking up stuff, personally, but they're going to be picking up gifts for the entire family. So that's where you can really come up with the bundles and the gift sets and the, what I'm saying, the gift wrapping and things like that. You can really come up off of that because that's what people are there for. They're looking for, a special thing for whomever, right? And if you can make it even more special by providing the gift wrapping and they don't have to do it, they're going to love you forever. When I used to do the markets in the holiday season, they used to love it because all they had to do was take the package and put a tag on it and give it to the person. Like it was already ready to go. They didn't have to do any of the work. So I took out the fuss and all of that, and they absolutely loved it. So definitely something to consider. Food festivals, especially if you have bakery styled products, if you have foodie kind of products, you may want to go and do a food festival. Again, we did a taco festival, and it would not typically be my customer or my target market, but it worked for us. It worked for us because it was a bunch of things going on. Yeah, it was a bunch of taco trucks, but there was also like this wrestling thing going on. They had a concert going on. So there was a lot of things going on that helped us to really be successful at this taco festival. But, try it out, try things out and see if it'll work. I know that Chris Marie, because I just see her. Oh, good morning, Martini. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Chris Marie, she does this thing called Foodie Land, right? And so she has her food, her cereal bowl candles and her dessert candles and stuff like that. And do you do well with those things? I know she does it a couple of times. I've seen her do it a couple of times. So yes, things like that may work in your favor, but just make sure it's a good fit for you. Just make sure it's a good fit for you. Miss Loy says my target audience was not there, right? Also, my products were too high for them. Yes. So you got to keep that in mind, right? Because if you're at a farmer's market, people are looking for deals. They're negotiating deals at the farmer's market, right? And so you got to think about that. Do you want to be in a place where you got to lower your price point, plus you got to deal with people wanting to negotiate your price? No, you want to be in a place where your price is the price and people are going to pay it anyway, right? She said it went very well. Okay, so good. See, you got to find the places that work for you, right? Find unique events. So, okay, so you could Google search. So I said craft fairs, festivals, markets, farmers markets, holiday markets, food festivals, arts and craft shows are another one. Schools are another one. The schools always do like the craft fairs and the craft shows and stuff like that. And they all take the local businesses and bring them in to raise money or whatever it is that they're doing. So you may want to look into the schools too. Google pop-up shops. You may want to Google jewelry craft shows. You may want to Google expos. Anything with a con after it is something to consider. You know, like they have the Comic Con, they have drag con, they have all kinds of cons and expos. So you want to make sure you're looking at those, because those are a little bit more more costly to get into, but you know you will make why can I speak to that? You will make money at these places because people are going there with the intention of buying things and buying a whole lot of stuff, especially if they're going to get like collectibles and things like that. They are usually going there ready to spend. So that would be a good thing for you. So chamber of commerce events, you want to look that up as well. You can look up craft fair directories. You can look up vendor event listings and artisan craft shows. You can Google all of those things and see what you get. There's also wine events go well in California for us. Also nice. Oh, and especially if you have, you complementing it with the, the pairings and the wine, and you giving that whole ambiance. Yes, yes, and yes, and art shows for sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. So here is, let me see, fairs and festivals. .net. You can do this as well, and you can put your zip code in, and that way you can find out. You know what I'm saying? You put the zip code in, that way you find out what's in your area. And if you want to travel a little outside your area, how far you're going to travel, da 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 da. Right? So you can see what's popping with that. You can also go to craftmasternews.com. Craftmaster News. Bang. Craftmasternews.com. You can go there. And I know a big one for us in the tri-state area is one called streetfairs.org. And so they'll have everything that's going on between New York and New Jersey. So if you are in that area, streetfairs.org. And I don't know if you can do other places, but I know for sure they have the listing for New York, New Jersey, and New York and New Jersey. Yes. And so they'll have all of the stuff that's going on. You'll have the whole schedule there. So it'll tell you all the events that's going on in those particular areas, on what dates and how much they cost. So I'll come back to what to look for. But Melissa, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Let me see if Melissa is still in the building. If Melissa, you're still in the building, let me know. And let me give you the link in the chat. Yep, there she goes. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning.
How are you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
Living the dream. Living the dream. All right. So what you got going on today?
So there are so many things with craft fair events. Like you said, I have been doing this for a very long time. My dad is an artist, so we've been doing craft shows ever since I can remember. So we've traveled all over the state of New York. He's gone to Atlanta doing shows and setting up. So I want to say, do not be afraid to travel. Me and my husband, we've gone to Philly, we've gone to all over New Jersey, all over Manhattan, Brooklyn, you know, traveling with our stuff. Also, if you're, don't try to perfect your setup. It's not going to be perfect the first time. It's not going to be perfect the second time. It's going to be different every single time you do an event. Hey, Kimberly, every single time, because every event is different. So all the layouts are going to be different. We did the Canal Street Festival, and my typical setup, it wasn't going to be the typical thing, because how they did it is it's like a store. You walk in and you have your own section. It's like an 8 by 4 feet section. They give you a table, but you already have built-in shelving. And so it looks like a little mini store, and you're there for the whole entire weekend. So your typical setup is not going to be the same. And you have to adapt to that. And every event is like that. Some you only have one room for one table, 2 tables. You can configure your setup to an L shape or to be, just straight, high lows. It really depends. And also to not be afraid to speak to people. I always say, I didn't do Essence. That is on my list. I have a running list of places, and Essence is on my list. I was going to fill out the application this year, and I went to go fill it out, and they said, how are you bringing your items? Are you bringing it on a truck? And I said, a truck? I'm not there yet. I will be, but a truck, I'm not there yet.
Like freight?
I'm like, a freight truck?
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay. Not there yet, but I will definitely get there. But don't be afraid to, speak to people. I always smile at people because sometimes I feel a little awkward. So I smile at people, and I always compliment them. So if someone's walking by and they look it in your direction, I say, oh, you have such a nice smile, or I love your dress. Where do you get that from? And usually that invites them into your booth. And so then people feel a little bit more comfortable. And I'm not saying, oh, smell my candles, this and the other. It just invites people into the booth, and then they start to look at them. And then my husband likes to do the spiel. He loves to do the spiel. So, he tells everybody about Cali Meets NYC, and then I tell everybody to smell, feel free to smell. He always makes fun of me because people tend to take a lot of the body butter, and I said, a little goes a long way.
Don't waste my product.
I'm like, a little goes a long way, because people will take like globs of this, and I'm just like, no, a little goes a long way. So you only need about this much. So, but make sure you have a good team so you can have a really good working dynamic. I think that's like the biggest thing. Does anyone have any questions? But I have a lot to say, and I could talk about this topic forever.
What you said? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Aren't you a part of? I don't know.
Because I had went over to Yaz's.
Okay.
I went over. I was like, what is is she talking about? I went over to Yaz's table because if I see you and I think you look familiar, I'm like, I'm going to go over to your table. I will say hi.
Oh yes, yes, yes. At the Sisters in Business Expo, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw Yaz and I was like, I was telling my husband, I was like, she looks familiar. I was like, I don't know her personally, but I think I follow her on Instagram. I said, I think she's a part of BCMC. I said, let me go over and say hi. I said, I don't know how I know her.
I know her from somewhere.
How do you gauge how much product? I always overestimate. So typically, depending on the event itself, so say my booth rent was like 200, 400, depends on whatever event it is. I usually triple it or quadruple it, the amount of product I bring. So if if I pay 200, I'm expecting to at least hopefully make $800 back. And to me, that's how I could say that it was, a good event. At least if I could double my money back.
At least, yes.
Yeah, that was a good event. But there have been so many events that were bad. Like my husband and I, we did one that was the week after our wedding. And
what? Why would you do one the week after the wedding?
That's what everybody said. But it was in Newark, so we didn't have to travel far. So it was probably 10 minutes from our house at the most. So, but it was so horrible. It was the worst event that we have ever been to. And I learned my lesson. The person had reached out on Instagram and I was just looking at the event. I said, I don't know. This may not seem like us. She didn't really seem organized all too much. And I was like, you know what? I'm just, we should just try it. So we tried it. Then the day of the event, first off, the setup time was horrible. The event started at 1. There was no setup time.
What?
I was like,
well, when do you want us to get here?
Yeah, she was like, oh, well, you guys can just set up and, customers will come in. I'm like, okay. And so I'm just like, this is a bad sign. Bad sign. I didn't really mind because the event fee wasn't that much. I think it was like $40, something like that.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? At least I can meet other vendors if all else fails. So we get there. She goes, oh, the address on the flyer is wrong. The entrance is on the other side. Because the address she gave us, the entrance, it had these steps to go up. And, I'm like, everybody has cards.
Yes. You don't have tents. It's indoors?
It was indoors. We had a dolly to bring up our stuff. And I'm just like, we're not lugging any of this stuff upstairs.
Right.
So it took a good 20 minutes to figure out where the entrance was. I said, there's no way that customers are coming. No way. And sure enough, no customers came. So all the vendors were buying from each other. I said,
right. Crazy.
It's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy. And so I was talking to another candle maker who was there, and she's like, never again. I did run into her at another event, and she did tell me that she went to another event of hers, and it was just the same disaster. I said,
wow.
Why did you go?
Right? She showed you who she was the first time.
I said, why did you go?
Right. Oh, no. And that's a good thing, too, like meeting the other vendors, because the other vendors always have, leads for you, right?
Exactly. So meet people, talk to people, getting people's DMs, especially if they have, either similar products or, the same kind of vibe. So then, you could talk to them. Hey, how long have you been doing this? Is this your first event? And then, they'll they'll share with you.
Right.
People love to share. They'll share with you different things. You have to get out there. You really do.
And so you said no customers showed up and you guys ended up shopping from each other. And so what was it? What did you learn from that one? Like when you see the events, what was the lessons from that?
Well, see, I didn't see so she had reached out to me.
Oh,
So
okay.
I didn't even reach out to her. She reached out to me, and I was like, "Oh, sure," because I'm like,
You want to be there? Okay, I'll be there.
Well, in my mind, I'm like, I say yes to pretty much everything. So I'm like, oh no. I said, okay, you have to vet the events better. I said, you have to vet the events better. So from then on, I just started really vetting the events. And sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's really bad. Or, maybe it's just a slow day, it could be weather, it could be anything. We used to do, if you're in New Jersey, if you're in South Jersey, do the Mask Melanin Market. The coordinator's name, her name is Wawa, Miss Wawa. And she is absolutely amazing. Her team is absolutely amazing. They have 10
what kind of event is that?
It's so they have all Black vendors, and so she does right now. She's been expanding, so she does like it's all kinds of vendors, and they have like games for certain times of the year. So they'll do like some kids stuff, and then they'll do like food, so that there's a lot of things happening, but it's really good. It's outdoors, and they provide tents for you guys, and it's so great.
Oh, nice.
So great.
Nice.
So great. She is amazing. Her team is amazing because the first day we did it, because I think we've done it 3 times, and the first time we did it, got a tent. We had our table and chairs. So they had everything, and they said, okay, what's your name? They checked the list and they said, okay, we're going to bring your tent to you. They had the guys setting up the tent and had people helping you from the car. So if you came by yourself, she had a whole team of people helping her. And I'm like, this is great. This is great.
Oh yeah, I love when there's direction. I love when there's a organization. You load here, you do this, you go here, and it's not a whole bunch of fuss and hassle, because it gets really ugly. The vendors, they get ugly as far as like territorial and the mouth, the situation and the fighting. Have you almost had a fight at an event?
No.
Oh, girl.
Oh, no.
You haven't made it till you got one. No, let me stop. Y'all about to throw down right there in the spot.
No. I vet the events now, and we know what events are ours and what are not. That's it. That's it. Because I'm like, I've seen stuff from my dad. So.
Oh yes. And he's an artist. So my aunt, and this is again why I think we are somehow connected in family, because my aunt, she used to do that all the time. So she used to go to, this is how I know how to vend and how I know how to set up and look for places, is because she taught me what to do, and she's been doing it my entire life, and so she has artist work, and she has the art, she has the artwork up, and she does it with a friend of hers, and they fight all the time. Like they're arguing with people all the time because people want to put stuff in their space, or it's just crazy sometimes.
Oh yeah, especially in these tight places too, because some of them, they'll be like right up against one another. There's no room in the back, there's no room on the side, and then people are saying, oh, where can I
And they just start inching their stuff in your spot, and you're like, excuse me, that belongs over there. You see that line right there? That's your space over there. Get it off of here. Like, you don't mind if I just put this a little bit in your space? I do, but you're not using it. It don't matter. Get it over there.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I said it's in New Jersey. Yeah, it's the Massachusetts Market. It's in New Jersey. I think she moved to Glassboro, New Jersey, so it's closer to Philly.
And I love Philly markets too. There's this place. Oh my gosh, I love Philly markets. What is it called? It was on 2nd Street in Germantown. Oh my God, I love that place. I loved it, and it wasn't a lot of people, but it was in a place that they were building up. And so it was like, there's new places. So it was like not a festival so much, but there's different bars in there. You can watch the game and stuff like on this big projector that's on a wall outside. And it was crazy, and it was just good the whole entire time. I love Philly for markets.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and it's funny because after the market, my husband and I, we would make our way to Philly, have some Philly cheesesteaks, and go home.
Philly is a time Philly is such a vibe for me. I just love Philly.
It is. It really is.
So, are there any tips or takeaways that you want to leave people with for if they're new to vending, or they're trying to, maybe they're not new in business, but they want to start doing vending events now?
Research, network with other vendors, because like I said in the first event that we did, I networked with every single vendor. So I'm like, I made sure I made at least my booth feedback.
That's right.
We didn't have to spend money on really traveling. It was 10 minutes from where we lived. And we didn't have to pay for parking. So at least I made my booth, feedback. But that's how we were able to find other events, and then really reaching out into your community. Be yourself. That's the number one thing. Be yourself. Wear a smile, so that way it's inviting. People feel calm coming into your booth. And don't worry about perfection, because your booth is not going to be perfect the first time.
And that's the truth, because you learn when you set up, how the flow is coming in. You can set up however you want at home, but then when you get to the event and you see the flow of the traffic, you're like, oh, okay, so maybe I should put these things here. Maybe, because my aunt always told me to make sure I had a U shape. It invites people in, and then they can go all the way around. You cut people off if you do it straight across. And just make sure you have it. It's inviting that way.
Exactly.
And so, I've always done it that way with the youth, because again, but I move my things around, like you were saying.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause depending on where you are, because if you have a big event and you're on a corner, you want to make sure that you do that L, so that way people could come around. Sometimes, and it depends, if you have your table up front, you want to make sure that people can, come into into your area. And sometimes I'll set up like a little bookshelf type of thing and put products on there, so then people can interact with a couple of different areas.
And one more thing, do you have any tips, like summer tips? Do you do summer? Well, you're in Florida now, so summer don't even matter. So doesn't even matter. It's hot anyway. But do you have any tips about doing markets in the summertime or warmer weather?
So I would say, if you do not have it, because I do not have a tent. And so if the event does not have a tent with it, we do not do the event, because I'm like, unless
you want to get you a tent, Melissa?
We can't fit it in the car. So, because I'm like, that's the problem, because we have a dolly too. So we have the dolly and then the tent, unless the tent can so it's just like, you do what you can. So, because when we were in Jersey, we did evening events. If we didn't have a tent, so we started at 5. So we would only do, we would only be in the sun for like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then the sun would go down, and it's fine. But here,
I'm telling you, I'm like, I don't even know how people vend in Florida if it's outdoors.
yeah.
That is insane.
No. So, the funny thing is we haven't done any events here yet, but I'm starting to apply for things. So I would say if you're looking for stuff now, or look for stuff now for the fall. And I'm telling you this because as candle maker, we know candle season is fall season. That's our time. Those spots, get taken so quickly. Yeah. And you don't want to be in there and say, oh, I'm sorry, we do not have any more candle spots.
Right.
I also suggest, and well, this is what I do. I do juried events. I don't do events that they take everybody. Just because,
you'll be in there with a whole slew of candle makers.
Yeah, I'm like, you never know. Yeah. I do juried events. So I want to make sure that, I'm in the market for my customers.
Right.
I'm going to the places that my customers are going to be at. So this is why you have to know who your target market is, where they're going to be, how they shop, things of that nature. So that way you know what type of events they go to and what type of events you should be applying for.
Yes.
That's what I do.
All right. And one more thing. I know I said one more thing. I keep saying one more thing. That's just how I do. But what's the most that you've ever spent to be a vendor?
Oh gosh. Renegade was the most. I think Renegade was 650, 700, something like that. Yeah. 650, 700. Yeah.
And how did that go for you? Did you make your money back? Was it extreme? Okay. That's where I made all of it back.
Oh, it was our best.
Okay.
It was our best. We've done Renegade, I think twice, 2 or 3 times. Renegade, they travel, so they do big cities. I wish they would come to Miami because we would do really well there. But they do San Francisco, LA. So if you're in San Francisco, LA, they do Chicago, they do, I think, Austin, Texas, Denver, Colorado, they do Manhattan, and they also do Brooklyn. So we've done Manhattan and we've done Brooklyn. They stopped doing Brooklyn because the Brooklyn Expo closed.
Okay.
So we did the Brooklyn Expo one, and we did very well there. I overspent because I had bought my mother with us because I thought we needed a third person.
Right.
We didn't necessarily need a third person, but that was okay because you live and you learn. You live and you learn. But I did make my money back. Wow. Renegade Craft. Renegade Craft. So if you type in Renegade Craft Festival, it'll come up. You'll see all the things, and they'll let you know when the applications are coming up, when they're due. It's one of my favorite events, and people will remember you. So that's how we got our nickname, Zip Code Candles.
Okay.
Yeah, because the second time we did it, someone was like, "Oh, I remember you. You're the candle lady with the zip code candles." And I was like, "Oh," I'm like, "That was a whole year ago."
That's a whole T-shirt, though. The zip code candle lady. Whole T-shirt. Like, what does that mean? Like, hey, look at my candles. They're right here. Exactly what it means.
So people have been calling us the zip code candles.
Oh, I love that. Love that, though. That's it. And that's a good talking point. It's a really good talking point, right?
It sure is. It sure is.
Oh, we got one question in here for you. What's the name of the one in San Francisco, Melissa?
Renegade Craft Festival. So they travel all over. But Renegade Craft Festival, that's how I found it because I actually attended it when I was living in San Francisco. And I said, okay, once once Cali Meets NYC was born, I said, Renegade, I know comes to New York. We have to do Renegade.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And did the price make you cringe?
No, because I've seen prices that my dad has paid. So.
Oh my gosh. I did Circle of Sisters. I said, oh my gosh. But it was a good show, but I was like, seriously? And Essence, I think, was 2,500. I was like,
yeah. I'm like, I don't know.
And we gotta travel from Pennsylvania there.
Exactly. I'm just like, that is on the list, but I don't know right now. But the money has to make sense because there was one that was $700, but that was for two days. And it was here in Miami. It was outside. And I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to make that money back. And it was in February. And it was right after Valentine's Day. So it's just like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Right. What would they be here for? If they already shot for Valentine's Day, why are they coming here?
Exactly. So I'm just like, it has to make sense.
Yeah.
That the money has to make sense. But you know that, Essence Festival, you're spending $2,500, maybe you're spending $3,500, $4,000 to travel with everything.
Hotel, travel, product.
You're going to make your money back. You know that because it's Essence Festival. Everybody goes to Essence Festival. People travel all over the place.
That's right.
So I'm like, that wouldn't scare me, but it was the freight that scared me. I said,
yes.
I'm like,
yes,
we are not there.
Not there yet. Well, I appreciate you so much, Melissa. Thank you for sharing your expertise, your experience. Tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Cali Meets NYC CO. I'm also here on YouTube. I will be posting more videos. I have a vlog coming up this week. I'll be editing today. So you can find me Cali Meets NYC on YouTube as well. Awesome. And my website, calimeetsnyc.co.
And put co. Make sure you put .co.
Yeah, .co. Yep.
Yes. And make sure you go follow her. She already told you. You can click her picture right now. Just go subscribe to her channel and make sure if you subscribe, leave her a comment, give her a thumbs up, and make sure y'all just stay in the know. Again, we are all about collaborating and not competing with each other. So I appreciate you joining and sharing with all of BBU and everybody else who's going to be watching. So you have an amazing day, Melissa.
You're welcome, and you too. Oh, I do have a video on my YouTube channel about vending. So
if you can put it in the link when you
I'll put it in the
chat. If not, send it to cousin and she'll be able to put the link because she's a moderator, so it'll be able to make a link so everybody could click. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
You too.
All right, y'all. All right, y'all. I'm not getting off yet. We got one more. All right, Chantel, where you at, girl? Chantel, if you're in the building, come on and pop in. The link's in the chat while I am waiting for you. Melissa has shared some really good tips that I think is great for you guys, because a lot of the times we go to events, we think that we don't need to speak to people. We need to speak to people because speaking to people I just put the link in the chat. Speaking to people is going to help you find out where the next event is. They're going to tell you if the event was good. They're going to tell you how they did. They're going to tell you what it looks like. You'll be able to get more of a feel of the event from different people that are vending at these places, right? So don't just close yourself off. Don't be at your booth and that's it. Be at your booth and then make friends, especially if you go by yourself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times you don't have a person to go with you. You may be at this event by yourself. You're going to be at this event for hours and you're going to have to go to the bathroom. You're going to want to eat. You're going to want to do things. So you're going to have to get familiar with your people. I'm not saying you got to trust them. I'm just saying get familiar with them. Again, they're going to share their experience. They're going to share other events. They're going to share, different things that's going to help you. What's coming up, what they're doing, what's a good place for you to go. They're going to look at your stuff and be like, oh, you know what? This is a good place for you to go. Have you ever thought about doing A, B, and C? You know what I'm saying? So you just open up yourself to that and just make sure that you open your mouth and learn and understand what's going on in the environment. They're going to tell you what shows not to do. They're going to tell you how bad some of them are. And that's okay. But get to meet people and get to know them so that you can, for the next upcoming things. Hey, Lakeisha, Keisha. Having issues with my phone now. Uh-oh. Well, the link's in the chat. I'll keep going until you can get in. All right, so I thought that was a very good point, is making friends with your people. Also, your setup's not going to be the same. And that is so true, because every time you do a different event, you're going to see what works where. You're going to see what people really, what catches people's eye. And those are the things you kind of want in the front. You know what I'm saying? I used to keep my sugar scrubs on the inside, right? But one of the things that was attractive to people was that I used to bring this big water cooler in, and not a water cooler, but those water jugs that you could turn off and off with the spout. And I used to put that at the front of my tent, and I would have the sugar scrubs there so people could try, and everybody would be looking because they wanted to know why everybody was gathered up over here. And so everybody's seeing, FOMO. People see people trying sugar scrubs there. Oh, I want to try that. Oh, I want to try that. And so that would bring more people into my tent. So I would put my sugar scrubs in the front because that was the main attraction, and then put my other products in there. But when I initially set up, I put soaps in the front and stuff like that, thinking, oh, the natural soaps was going to be the draw, but that wasn't. It was the sugar scrubs. But so you're going to have to change that around. And also, when you have different space, especially like Melissa was saying, if you have a corner, you can use all sides of your tent. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to just using what's inside. You can use everything. So yeah, it'll be different every time. So don't be flexible. Don't get, stunned like, oh, I don't know what to do. Just be flexible with your setup. So let's go. We got the next one in the building. We got Chantel in the building. Hey, sis. Hey, Chantel.
Hey, y'all.
All right, girl. What you got for us? How are you doing this amazing morning?
I am doing great. We are halfway there. Almost Friday.
Almost Friday.
You see, I got my Bubble Babes and BCMC brunch shirt.
Oh, hey, represent for the crew.
I love the shirt.
Right, that's one of my favorites.
Uh-oh. What did I just do? Okay.
No, you're here. We can see you.
Ciao.
So we're getting ready for the big Midwest conference. That's what we're about to get ready for.
While we're here.
While we're here.
While we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait. We are days away.
Days away. So it's super exciting. So tell us a little bit about your experience as far as vendor markets are concerned.
So you want my honest opinion?
I want to be as raw and
keep it real.
As you can, girl.
I'm gonna keep it real. So when I first started, which was back in 2016, I was really like into the selling thing because I knew that was a good way of getting brand awareness and getting my name out there. So I think for those who are, you don't really necessarily have to do it because you're new. I think you should do it until you get to the point of success that you want to be at. Like I know there are brands that I follow, and the reason why they were able to get as far as the success that they have is they were going to vendor markets, and they were doing that they're being consistent, and they were showing up to the same ones. So they were able to build their tribe that way. So I would strongly recommend, if you are starting out or you're looking to start vending, this is a good way to build your brand, to build your tribe, to get people to know you, especially this time of year where everyone's looking to be out in the streets. They're trying to, get this warm weather before it gets cold again. So people are really trying to, even though they're watching their money, which is why I think you should have more what I call gateway products, because people are trying to watch their pennies in some cases, and you want to have products that are not going to be a big I won't say risk, but they don't feel like it's a huge risk because they don't know who you are. So like sample sets, things like that. So overall, my experience when I first started up until probably pre-COVID was good. People were buying and spending money. I noticed that after COVID a little bit, even just recently within the last couple of years, people, the vendor markets are becoming what I'm just gonna say saturated with the same people selling the same things. And that's been my issue. And that's why and I've always been kind of I kind of slowed down on the selling on the markets. Um, just me personally, because I felt like here, I think demographics matter too. I think where you're located matters as far as your success at these markets.
Yeah.
So I kind of stopped doing as many of them because I felt like one of them I did, the last one I did, I was like, this ain't it. It's it everywhere you look, somebody selling candles and shea
Yeah.
butter. And I was over it. So until I can figure out a way to be real, to be unique and stand out. Um, and I don't have the time really to just like sit down, and I don't want to say the time, but right now I have a lot going on, so I don't have the time to really plan it out. But I think unless you really want to stand out in these markets, you need to have a very unique selling point. You have to be, you know, your table needs to be eye catching. I can say when we went to PhillyCon, I will say those candle makers came with it. Their
Oh
stands,
my
their
gosh.
displays.
Yes.
I was so impressed. I was so impressed. I was like, dang.
Right? I
They
was
came
like,
with it.
oh, these setups are nice. Like it
They
didn't look
came with
homemade or
it.
nothing.
They came with it, and I was
Right.
very impressed. And I was like, this is how a candle display should look, or just a display should look. And I'm not one to do the whole creative like Melissa. I know she's good with that. You're good with that kind of stuff. My lane is more so like, I won't even go as far as saying as talking, because as an introvert, that can be a struggle for me. But I've learned that in order for me to be successful at vending, I have to come out of that and find ways to talk to people. That's just what it is. You
I
have to
don't see
find.
you as an introvert.
Nobody sees me as an introvert. I
No.
am. I am. I talk a lot if I know you. Y'all family. I'll talk your ear off. Yes, trees. CandleCon was everything. Yeah, I'll talk your ear off if I know you. But it, or if I don't know you, but we have a common thing going on, or something resonates, I can talk about something, you know, that kind of. But I'm really like just in my little shell. But I did have I struggled with talking to people initially, but I also realized I didn't know my product the way I should have. So I think a lot of times people will say it's introversion, but really it's you don't know you don't know everything you should be knowing about your product, or you're unable to convey it to where people will buy it from you. So
Right.
that's been my experience. I've also learned that as an introvert, if you are an introvert, have a wingman, have somebody with you that can talk. That's been a good thing for me, as someone that will talk to people, and you can stand there, still be personable.
Right.
Just because you're not the one speaking doesn't mean that you just kind of ignore people. Still speak, let them know
Mm.
you're the owner, engage. But yeah, definitely get a wingman if you have to. Get a wing woman or somebody that can kind of go in there and get the people coming to your booth.
So, what was the worst event that you've done?
I have okay. So if I had to really say the worst, I would say the one that stands out. And I've shared this story before. There was an event. I don't want to say who it is because I don't know, but there's an event here. They do concurrent markets. They have certain days, not certain days, but every month they do a market every couple of months. No, every month. And so it became, when I first started, I was very successful. And then as the market grew, the name got out there, which I think is great. People are starting to come and they starting to know who this person is and who this group is that's putting on this event. Um, More and more candle makers started showing up, and so got to the point again saturated with candle only, but only candle makers. Even though we're all unique, if you're only getting 100 people in the 4 hours that you're there, that's not a lot of people.
Right.
So one of the so I try to get there early so I can, because it's first come first serve. So the person that so one of this is actually on me. So I was setting up my table, and I had everything pretty much laid out. And there was a lady that was selling books, and then there was like a little small space, and then it was me. Well, this other candle maker decided that she was gonna fit in that little small space.
What?
right next to me. So of course, I'm livid because I'm
Mhm.
like, first of all, I don't do people like that. So don't do me like that. Don't
That's
do
right.
other candle makers. Not just me. Don't do other candle makers like that. Don't do your fellow candle maker or yours. We all we all the same. We all black in here. We should be supporting. We don't do that to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so she squeezed her little stuff in there and she got her stuff all together. Looked at me like, "What are you doing here?" Like, gave me attitude. Gave me attitude. And so I knew, I was like, you know what? This is a test.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if I show out in this place, that looks bad on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't let her. I'm not gonna let this
You're out of
person down.
there.
I could have had a conversation with her and saying, I was here first. You probably should. But I said I'm gonna let it go.
Mm-hmm.
So then after she set up everything, she was like, she wanted to be nice to me, and I was like, so she came to me and she was like, yeah, oh, you're doing, because I was selling my candles 2 for $45, and she was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I'm doing my 2 for 4. Okay, okay, so I'm doing my thing right too. I was like, are you kidding me? I wanted to fight Nikki,
I
but
know that's right. I'd have been
I
like, girl,
was
you
so
gonna have
pissed.
to move. I'm gonna have to move you. Something's got to happen.
I wouldn't let that happen to me again because I was being too nice and I didn't want to cause a scene because I know me. I'm like, this would have been a scene.
Yeah.
So I left it alone, and to me it just didn't go well. And that's when I decided, I was like, I'm not doing this again. When there are other people here doing these things, and I can already tell my people aren't here.
Yeah.
So this is not for me anymore. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. It was like this. I was already, because I was working with my consultant Rachel at the time. We were talking about this, and I told her about it. She was like, "Don't ever do that again." She said, "Stop. That's not where you're supposed to be. The products you sell are not for that market." And that's
Right.
when I stopped. And that was probably the worst vending experience that comes to mind for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, would you rather like do events where you know where you're going to be and who's around you, so that it's not
Mhm.
kind of like first come
Mhm.
first serve,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
something like that could happen. So
Yeah.
something like that you could avoid that rather.
Yep. I did an event for Black History Month. And they had a layout where everyone was going to be,
Mm-hmm.
and they put me next to a person that sold jewelry, which was fine, but they placed me in between a person that sold jewelry and another person that sold shea butter. And
Mm-hmm.
I had just brought my candles. I didn't bring my skincare products with me, so it was okay, but I still think that was I would prefer not being by near. I would prefer not being near a skincare person, but I wasn't tripping about it. But
Mm-hmm.
I did ask questions, and I think it's very important to ask questions like, how many candle makers are you going to have? And I think
Right.
now where we are, as far as the candle and skincare industry, asking those questions is very important because they're not going to tell you. They're not going to come out and say we have 5 other candle makers. They're
Right.
trying to fill a quota. They're trying to get their money. So if their event space costs $2,000, they're gonna get whoever they can get in there, and you have to figure out, do you want to be at this event? Now, Melissa brought up Essence Fest. Essence Fest, you're gonna chances I haven't heard anybody that's gone to Essence Fest and hasn't done well.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like going to Essence Fest, spending the money to get that table. I think it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've never been to Essence Fest. My goal is to go there, but I feel like that will be something that you can say, you know what? If it's first come, first serve, I don't know if they do it that way. I don't know if I would want to do first come, first serve, but I think there's room for everybody at Essence Fest because everybody's looking to shop,
Yep.
looking for, they're looking to shop. They're looking to come away with something, leave with
Yep.
something so they can shop with you during the year outside of Essence Fest. So I do prefer to know where I'm going to be,
Mm-hmm.
and thankfully the person that the event that I was at for Black History Month, they did send a chart before, and of course sometimes when you get there things change, but for the most part I was okay with being like, I know where I'm going to be. I ain't going to be next to something. I looked up to the people to make sure they weren't
That's right.
candle
That's
makers. I'm like,
mm-hmm.
who is this person? So yeah.
Like I may need you to move me somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
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 Yep. Yep. Oh my goodness, I'm reading Kay's comment.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I hate when people do that. I hate when people do that. It's like, the fact that you have to do that says a lot about you. The fact that you have
Correct.
to get in front of me and try to push me out the way, there's a threat there somewhere. And the fact
Mm-hmm.
that you're threatened, you're in the wrong business.
That's right.
You're in the wrong business if you're threatened by people to where you got to undermine them. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why a lot of times when I go to certain events, I'm like, mm-mm. If y'all gonna do stuff like this, You're not gonna have me in here acting up because you stand in
Right.
front of my so yeah.
Right. Like
Mm-mm.
you're gonna trigger me, and I don't know what's gonna happen,
Yeah.
but something will happen. You may
And you
not like it.
learn.
Right.
You learn what events are for you. You learn to cherry pick the events that are for you,
Mm-hmm.
and stay with, like, now there's a company that I was vending with, and they send out, they make you apply.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now they're starting to reach out more to, they have a certain amount of skincare people they'll allow in, and a certain amount of candle people. Once that quota is filled, jewelry people, everyone has their quota, and after that they close it out, which I
Yeah.
respect, because now you don't have 10 candle makers,
Mm-hmm.
10 skincare people, 20 jewelry people, 20 t-shirts. It's like nobody's really gonna make money.
All in the same area.
Right. Nobody's really gonna make money at this point,
That's right.
because
That's right.
you're not even gonna make your vendor feedback, because you're now, if you're at a free event, I kind of like let things, I'm like, if it's free,
Yeah.
you kind of have to expect, really can't expect something. But
Right.
if I'm
Not
paying for
much.
this
Right.
event, right, if I'm paying for this event, and I'm paying 90, $100 to get in this event to sell my products, I expect to be put in a position to be successful, not to have to fight with another candle maker or skincare maker for customers.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. So speaking of pricing, what's the most that you've ever spent to vend at an event?
the most I've ever spent to vend at an event would be, um, I think about 200.
Mm-hmm.
About 200. And this was like years ago. I don't do that anymore because I've learned my lesson. I live in Minnesota. Events here are just, when one person does an event, now it's gotten to the point where everybody makes candles here.
Yeah.
Everyone makes skincare products here. And there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that. I know you always hear people say there's room for everybody, which I agree with,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to be realistic when it comes to certain things. I don't want to say there isn't room for everybody, but it can get a little crowded.
Yeah.
And we have to be careful or mindful of events that we go to where we know, um I just feel like now we're candle making industry has really grown exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what event you go to, there's gonna be a lot of candle makers
Yeah. Yeah.
and skincare people.
And definitely, definitely, you're always going to see candle people, you're always going to see skincare people, you're going to always see the jewelry people, the t-shirts,
Mhm.
the tumblers.
Mhm.
You're always
Mhm.
going to see that. And
Yeah.
so it I do agree, you are going to have to be a little bit more, like you said, you have to cherry pick the events that you're
Mhm.
going to do and
Mhm.
ask the question. So what are some of your top things that you would ask? So if, like, people are watching now, again, if they're new to vending, or but they're not new to business,
Mhm.
what are some of the things that they should be asking people that are doing these events?
Yeah, like I said earlier, ask how many of whatever you're selling, ask how many other vendors are going to be doing the same thing. Just so you know where you stand, you can make a sound decision on whether or not you want to do that event. Now, if you say, you know what, they say we have three other people making t-shirts, and you're like, all right, I can be the fourth. Also ask what their typical traffic looks like.
Mm,
I think that's important, because if you're going to spend 4 hours somewhere, 5 hours, and some of these markets can be all day, and they only get 20 people, you've wasted your time. And you're in this
right.
hot sun too. And
Mhm.
the time that you're taking to pack, to set up, you're setting up your tent, you're bringing people along to help you, you're setting up your candles, you're in the sweltering heat. It's a lot of work that goes into it, only for 20 people to show up, and those 20 people ain't even buying nothing.
Right.
So
And your
definitely.
products get ruined out there in that heat. Yeah.
Yep. And also understand, the event coordinators, the people who are planning these events, are looking out for themselves.
Hmm.
So even when you ask questions, they may not always be honest,
Correct.
but at least you ask those questions. Like, I've asked questions before, like, how many candle makers are you going to have? Oh, we only asked one other person. You get there's three other people there.
Right.
So then you're not trustworthy and you're not honest. So I'm not going
Hmm.
to fool with you anymore. But if you have a successful event, you can chalk it up and say, I was still successful. I'll do it again. So you kind of know, um, what events are for you. You'll know. You'll
Right.
know. And then the last thing would be, don't vend out of desperation.
Mm,
Um, and I know that's not a question, but it's more like a tip. Don't vend out of desperation, because I've done that, where you say, "Oh, I could use the extra money." it's time wasting if you're not if you're going to these events that are not for you. Now, these events are for you, where your target audience is going to be. By all means, do it, but don't vend out of desperation. Oh, I just need to, I need to get to this market because I need to make an extra $200, whatever. You're going to be disappointed, and I
Yeah.
did that. I'm going
Yeah.
to be honest. I did that in my journey, and you go, and it's defeated. You feel defeated because you're like, dang, I really was hoping that this would be more successful, and then you feel like all the time you put in, especially if you know this event ain't really what's popping.
Right.
But you just want
Right.
to take
Right.
a risk, and so that
Mm-hmm.
would be what I.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
Kay said everybody in Connecticut makes teas.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's here in Minnesota. Everybody makes candles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then
And being that
you have one.
everybody's sorry,
Go
go ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Nikki.
Being that everybody's coming off of, like, as you can see, there's a bunch of COVID
Mm-hmm.
businesses. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And so everybody's coming fresh off of that. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're trying to make fetch happen. So of course, when
Mm-hmm.
you go somewhere, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, of course you're making dessert candles. Of course
Mm-hmm.
you're making
Mm-hmm.
candles over here. Of course your
Mm-hmm.
candles look like this person's, because you
Mm-hmm.
came up with this idea of something you can do to make money just because somebody else was making money doing it. So you got to make it work. That's like when
Mm-hmm.
we went to the mall and we supported. Remember, I told you I bought that
Mm-hmm.
$40 dessert candle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
making. Why would I buy a $40 dessert candle? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm supporting because Black businesses in the mall is hard. Da, da,
Mm-hmm.
da, da. But
Mm-hmm.
you got to be careful about what you are surrounding yourself with,
Yep.
because like the girl who parked herself right in between, right in
Mm-hmm.
that little space where you were. Why would you be right here when you could maximize your space somewhere else?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And the last thing I would say too is what I decided to do. I'm a person, like, I believe in being the change you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing was, if I'm not having success or the success I want in the markets that are happening or the events here, is to do my own. And
Yeah.
so I've decided to pivot and start doing my own, like Sip and Sense, going back to Sip and Sense, going back to um candle making classes, not going back to what just, doing a candle making class, doing virtual events. So most likely I'll be doing virtual events during the fall, winter time. But
Yeah.
that's how I feel like that's where I'm best suited,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been disappointed with how things have gone here. So my experience is a little different than Melissa's. I wanted to kind of share the other side of it,
Yeah.
where it's like it's not for me anymore. And so I know someone told me when I was telling them about an event the last event I went to, and they were like, you need to start doing your own events. And I'm like, yep, I already knew that.
Yeah.
So I would highly suggest, if you feel like events in your city or your demographic just aren't where you belong or where you feel like you are thriving, consider doing your own events.
Mm-hmm. And you can also bring your products with you at the
Mm-hmm.
events, right?
Yep. And that's what I do. When I have my sip and scents for my perfume oils, I bring my products and people buy the products. And then to me, it's just easier. Yes, there's more legwork. Um, there's more, that goes into that, but it's worth it because it's your thing, opposed to paying someone a fee. They're not looking out for you. Just being
No.
honest, they're not looking out for you.
Right.
They're looking to
Right.
make money. This is a business for them. This is whatever it is, a hustle, a side business, or whatever it is to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to fill a quota. They need to pay for that space.
Right.
So that's where they're at. And so for you, pay for your space if you can collaborate with another brand, another business, and then that way, that to me is worth it. And you get to leave kind of feeling accomplished, like you did that. And that's the part of entrepreneurship, is building your own thing. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what we're doing as entrepreneurs. We're building our own thing. So continue building for yourself. Now, if you're at events that are working for you, have at it.
That's right.
Have at
That's
it.
And I like what you said about doing your own events, because again, you are in control of your traffic. You are in
Mm-hmm.
control of how much work goes into it. You are
Mm-hmm.
in control of how you advertise your event and who you
Mm-hmm.
want to come in, the quality of people that comes into the event, which is great because
Yep.
again, you have the control over it. You know that it's going to be successful, especially if you have X amount of tickets and you sell
Yep.
all your tickets. Your event already out the gate is successful. And then if you have the cherry on top of the cake, right,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is if they buy your products. That's extra,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
They didn't
Yep.
necessarily have to, but
Yep.
it's extra money.
Yep.
Plus now they're going to tell everybody about this great experience that they had with you, especially at this time of the year. People are looking, and not even just this time of the year, all times of the year. People are looking for ways to engage. People are looking for something to do. Again, we say all the time, people are always celebrating something.
Yep. Yep.
Let them
Yep.
celebrate with you.
Yep. Yep. I think there's alternatives. Again, like I said, I have a different experience with events. Mine is looking for alternatives and how I can shift and pivot to where it works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because like we see in COVID, things were you couldn't go outside. So what I decided to do was do virtual aromatherapy classes. Okay.
Nice.
Since I can't go out and do an actual class, and it's actually less money because it's virtual and
That's
people are inside. That's why I typically like to leave virtual events for the fall, winter, when people like to stay home. What's more fun than saying, you know what, it is freezing cold outside, it's snowing, and I get to do something fun like create my own stuff. You tell them what
mm-hmm.
the ingredients are. They can get it from Amazon, or you can send it to them. You can have them pay, and then you create the boxes and send it to them. I'm
Yeah.
going to a whole nother area, but
We're
but
gonna have a class on it, so get ready.
so like, but
We
you can.
you.
That's where
We
I'm
meaning
at.
you. We
That's
meaning you.
yes, yes, yes. Because I feel like that's where, to me, that's where I thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And I know events are for everybody, and this is a good way for you to be more in control of what's going on. Because I feel like vendor markets and events are shifting, and
Mm.
so for me, to me, it's shifting. And so now
No,
it's
it's
like, you know
shifting.
what,
Period. Mm-hmm.
it's shifting. So I know it's more and more people are starting to say, "Ooh, these vendor markets, I didn't make no money, or I just broke even." And again, I get it. You do get brand awareness from it, but then it's like, how much brand awareness? What's more like? How is it weighing out? Is brand awareness? Is it mathing? Like brand awareness versus setting up. You're not even breaking even. Like how does that work out for you? So if
Right.
you're getting the emails and the people are signing up for your emails, I think that's a trade-off. Yeah, I got brand awareness, I got emails, now I can promote to these people. Or, and I know Patricia, she's one that gets really good.
Yes.
She's very successful at markets, but again, I think it's demographics. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm more into shifting into doing my own events, and I think as people grow, you'll start to, if that's for you, you'll
Mm-hmm.
start to kind of go in that direction.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a great idea. Oh wait, so we got a question from Kay. How do you deal with hagglers? She
I
don't.
don't. I don't. Usually I'll just say it, because what I do is I'll bring clearance items. Usually I'll bring items that I'm trying to get rid of, um, and I'll have a special section for those. And so typically they'll gravitate to those. So the hagglers always will buy from that section.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, if you want to haggle, if that's what you want to do, you can. But I would suggest bringing inventory low, like inventory that's not selling. Um, Give that, just make a special discount for those people who want to, they only want to spend a certain amount of money, and they don't want to pay the full price point, or have a, if you have a sale, two buy two get one half off or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually have clearance items for the hagglers, so
Mm-hmm.
that eliminates all that.
Yep. And I used to do that too. I used to put my clearance items right there in the front. So if
Mhm.
you were looking for something cheap, there you go right
Mhm.
there. You want to come
Mhm.
in and see what I got?
Mhm. Mhm. Yep, and it helps people. Sometimes people don't want to commit to an 8 ounce jar of shea butter, and they don't know if they're gonna like it. They don't want to commit to that. So if I give you a 2 ounce or a 4 ounce or a discounted 8 ounce for $10, they're more likely to buy it because they're like, it's only $10. If I don't like it, I can give it to somebody
Exactly.
or whatever. So yeah, that's how you deal with hagglers. Get you
Mm-hmm.
some clearance items on sale or whatever, and they'll go right over there.
Yep. Yep. I
$5
totally agree with
teas.
that.
Yep, $5 off. End of summer sale. They'll buy them.
Yep. Yep. And so I'm glad that you went into that because that's what we're gonna have a class on that with you.
Mhm.
So just letting you know you got a class in the works. We got two. No, but yeah, so I think that everybody, no matter what your business model is, what you
Mhm.
do, I think everybody has a way that they can showcase their products or something that they can do, something that you can make
Mhm.
and take, or kind of, that kind of
Mhm.
situation. You may not have the space, but you can do it virtually. And I was thinking about it when you said it, and I'm like, oh, you could do kits the way you said it. But I'm
Mhm.
like, Kay could do t-shirt, distress and t-shirt kits. She could
Mhm.
do certain kind of jewelry kits. She could do,
Mhm.
create her own fedora kits. cups, your own cups. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like, if we think a little bit outside the box, we'll be able to capitalize. Again, people want to make their own stuff. They want to learn how to do something. They want to share with their friends. They want to do things with community. So I think this is going to be a great class. So you make sure you get your date together, girl, because we
I'll
don't.
be ready. I'm ready. Because I love talking about that and I love doing it. So even as we're talking, I'm like, I'm already getting ideas for what I want to do next. So definitely, definitely.
Yes. So, is there anything else that you want to leave the listeners with today, as far as events are concerned, or anything in general? And make sure you tell them how to find you.
Oh, you guys can find me at Fluorescence on Instagram and Facebook, and then of course on my. You want to? Can we do our website?
You
Plug our
sure
website.
can. You sure
Fluorescence.com. I want to be respectful of people's platform. I won't be plugging, but fluorescence.com. Yeah. The only thing I want to leave is follow your passion. Follow what speaks to you, because we can tell you all these things, what to do, what not to do. Do what speaks to you and where God leads you. We've been with Sister Eula, for the last week, and then we're still following her. And one thing, and she was on here last week. Do what God calls you to do, because at the end of the day, we can give you all this advice. If God's telling you to go right, you go right, and you do what you pray about your business, and you say, God, show me where I need to go. What events should I be looking up? Where are my people at? And I guarantee you're going to find success there. So that's what I will leave you guys with.
I love that.
Yes, Michelle, start your own events. I
Mm-hmm.
promise you, if you, Melody just said too, as an introvert, that's where you'll if you're an introvert, you'll find out where you thrive. And that's what a part of entrepreneurship is: finding where you thrive, trying different things, seeing what works, and then saying, hey, I like it here, and building on that.
Building out, yeah. Absolutely love that. So thank you,
Thank
Chantel. This was so
you.
insightful, and we got a class out of that, y'all.
Yes. 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 Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye,
so much.
everybody.
You know I love you, girl.
Yes,
Have an
love you too,
amazing
sis.
day. All right, y'all. So, I thought that was great. Some great information, some great insight. I hope that you guys are writing things down, especially again, if you are going to events and you see that things are starting to slow down. Maybe your area is not popping like it used to. Maybe going ahead and branch out a little bit and see what it's like to do your own virtual event, or maybe collaborate with somebody. I tell you guys, and next week I'm going to talk about it too, about creating your own pop-up shop, about creating your own vendor events where you're inviting vendors in so that you will be paid initially off the top. You're going to set up your table too. As this is what I used to do, set up your table as well, but you're going to host the event, right? So you have somebody working your table and you make sure your vendors are okay. You treat them the way you would want to be treated at an event. You know what I'm saying? You guys are all promoting the event. So their customers are coming in, your customers are coming in, everybody is commingling, and this is a great time had by all. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that is great, especially when times start to get a little slow and you like, okay, well, don't wait till everything completely stops. But when you notice that things are starting to slow down, you might want to say, hey, you know what? Maybe now is the time for me to start an event. I know that I have a guaranteed 4 people that will be at my event. I can just keep on promoting and make sure that these 4 people turn into 8 people, these 8 people turn into, you know what I'm saying? And continue to do things. And what do you have in your business that you can offer to do a DIY kit, or to do something where people are going to have fun doing it? Maybe even do this for somebody's birthday. Maybe even do this for somebody's wedding gifts. Maybe even do this for somebody's wedding party, bridal party. You know what I'm saying? Groomsmen, whatever. You can do things like this that are going to help create something different. You know what I'm saying? It's not so much buy my product, but now you create in different environments where people can purchase from you. So I thought that was a great point, Chantel. So thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much, Melissa, for sharing. I thought both of you guys had some very good, valuable information for everybody. I hope that you all had some takeaways. Are there any questions in the audience? Do you have any questions about any markets? Tomorrow we're going to go more into like event prep. how much to bring at a market, what type of stuff to bring at a market, because you may not want to bring all of your products to a market. You may want to bring certain types of products, especially if you got a men's event or something. You don't want to bring all your lady stuff. Maybe you want to bring more unisex, more, stuff geared to men. Where would they have it? Your setup will kind of, like Melissa was saying, your setup will kind of look different because it won't look like the girly, fresh environment. You may want to change it so now it'll look more, what do you call it? Metrosexual. You want to make it look crisp, clean, or masculine. You may want to do something more edgy. You know what I'm saying? So things are going to change. And so we're going to be talking about that too tomorrow. So I hope that you guys are enjoying this vendor series for this week. And I'm going to be doing Coffee with Nikki in series. And I think I want to do it as I want to do more interactions. I want to keep on inviting you guys up to share your expertise. Remember, I said I was going to bring you guys up for on Thursdays to have conversations about your business, what's going on in your business, how you're doing, things you struggle with, where you're thriving at, that type of thing, so that other entrepreneurs that are watching, they can feel that they are in a safe space. They feel like they're in a space where people understand where they are, where their mindset is, and how to switch it and know that things can change for you. And so I think I'm going to bring that more so into the mornings. If I know people are at work and everybody can't just join in. But I think that would be a great idea. Let me know in the chat. Did you guys enjoy it? Put ones in the chat if you enjoyed it. And I appreciate Chantel and Melissa for coming up with me. Tomorrow, Cousin is going to be coming on with me, and she's going to be sharing her expertise and her experience as well. She's also available in I think, is it Black Coffee Atlanta? She's in the coffee shop in Atlanta, Black owned coffee shop there. And she does events in the area. She also sells candles out of her car. You know what I'm saying? After church, sometimes people like, did you bring my candles? Did you do this? And so she's doing that. So, there are a variety of ways that you can be making money. It does not necessarily have to be just an online thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be at a pop-up event. You may find other ways to make money. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to think outside the box, especially when times get trying. And as entrepreneurs, we don't have consistent income. We don't always, we can't always expect to have, X amount every single time we go out, because sometimes the event may be great and you may do extremely well. Sometimes it may have sucked and you haven't, you know what I mean? So I think that, doing things like this and thinking outside the box and bringing people on with other ideas will help you to loosen up the ideas that, some things that may be innovative to you, may come up with something great that you think that nobody ever have come up with before. You know what I'm saying? But it'll at least loosen up some ideas, get the creative juices flowing. Right? Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. All right, let me see that part. Obedience to God. Come on. Amen. Hey Jamie. She said, I'm late. I will catch the replay. You're gonna have a good one. This is a good replay, Jamie. This was great inspiration today. Thank you. Keisha in the building. Loving the series. Thank you. This was great. Thank you, Kay. I need you on too, but I know you're in the office. So if you can, let me know if you can. If not, then we'll do an evening. But I definitely want to have you on. We got a one in there. Keisha said very much so. I have to go back and watch. Melissa, yes. So so we're gonna finish off this week doing markets, and maybe if Tracy's in the building too, maybe I could get Tracy and Cousin to be on, because they both work together when they do events. So they watch each other's table and they know each other's product. And again, this goes with knowing people that come with you, you know what I'm saying? Or knowing your neighbor, because your neighbor, if you have to go to the bathroom or you have to go get you something to eat or maybe something, whatever, they're able to be like, they could talk about your products if somebody asks about it. So if possible, Tracy, if you could come on tomorrow, that would be great too. Don't forget, tonight we're going to be on with Jazz, and we're going to be talking about sales funnels for your e-commerce shop. So make sure you're in the building. Bring your pen, your pad, be ready to take some notes. It's going to be an amazing class. If you ever sat in a class with Jazz or ever sat on a live with Jazz, Jazz always gives gems, so you don't want to miss tonight's live. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Emails are going out at 6:45. Open your emails, y'all. Open your emails. 6:45, they're going out. If you want to follow us on social media. We are Bubble Babes, BABEZ University everywhere on social media. Join the community. Go to bubblebabesuniversity.com, click community, and you'll be able to sign up. It is free. It is free. It is absolutely free for you to join. If you watch this far and you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. We got the memberships open, y'all. Go on ahead and get you a membership. Go on ahead and get you a membership. Some of the videos that we have going on now, they are going into the members only videos, and they're also going to go in the memberships. I'm not going to keep them up on Coffee with Nikki. You're going to have to catch it live. If not, you're going to have to go into the community and catch the video. What else do I want to tell y'all? Make sure you turn on your notifications bell so that you can be notified when we go live. We go live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Coffee with Nikki, your daily cup of information and inspiration. So let me see. Kay can do an evening. Set that up. Okay, got you, Keisha. All right, y'all. So yeah. Come on over here. Come over here, Tracy. We can be on together. Yes. All right, y'all. So with that being said, I will see y'all later on tonight. And you don't want to miss tonight because there will be no replay. No replay. So make sure that you will be there. Will you record it? Yes. I have another meeting at 7. Yes, it will be recorded, but it will not be available here for the replay. It'll be here for 24 hours. It'll be here for 24 hours, and then it's going into the community and it's going into the membership. So if y'all have not yet become members of the YouTube community, make sure that you do that. And that's it. That's all, y'all. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. And I will talk to y'all later. Well, I'll see y'all tonight. Not I'll talk to y'all later. I'll still talk to y'all later. But I'm going to see y'all tonight. Talk to you later. Bye.